Everyone tells you that cheese is the enemy. They say it makes you gain weight, raises your cholesterol, and harms your heart. But for women over 60, avoiding cheese might actually be one of the worst things you can do for your muscles. After menopause, when estrogen drops, your body begins losing muscle at nearly twice the rate of men your age. So if you've been feeling weaker lately, if standing up from a chair feels harder, if your legs feel heavy for no clear reason, I want you to hear this very clearly. It is not your fault. Your body is simply working with a different set of tools than it had years ago. And today, I'm going to show you something most women never get to hear. 5 specific cheeses that can help women over 60 reactivate lost strength. And 5 popular cheeses quietly sitting in millions of kitchens that may be accelerating muscle loss without you realizing it. And there's one cheese marketed as a healthy option that research suggests may speed up muscle deterioration by as much as 40% in older women. I'll reveal that one at the end of this video. But before we go any further, I want to speak to the woman who has spent 20 or even 30 years avoiding cheese because you were told it was fattening. Stay with me. What you're about to hear may completely change the way you think about aging, strength, and your health after 60. If you grew up in the 70s or the 80s or 90s, you probably remember the low-fat era. Magazine covers, commercials. Even doctors at the time were telling women to cut out cheese, avoid butter, and choose light everything. For decades, you were taught that staying away from cheese made you disciplined, healthy, and responsible. And I want you to hear this clearly. You did exactly what everyone told you to do. You were not wrong. You were simply following the best advice available back then. But after 20 years treating muscle loss, I've noticed something that breaks my heart every time. Women pay the highest price. You spend your whole life caring for everyone. Your children, your spouse, your parents, your grandchildren. And somehow, in the middle of all that love and responsibility, no one ever stops to ask the most important question: who is taking care of you? And for most women I meet, the deepest fear isn't aging on the outside. It's losing independence. It's that moment when you try to stand up from a chair and your legs hesitate. It's needing help to get out of bed. It's the quiet worry in that one day your family might have to carry the weight you've always carried for them. Have you ever stood up and felt your legs weaken, as if they forgot what to do? Have you ever told yourself, maybe this is just age, when in reality, your muscles were simply starving for the nutrition they need to stay strong? If any of that feels familiar, I want you to know this. You are not alone. Millions of women your age are experiencing the same changes, wondering why strength seems to disappear faster than it used to. But here's the truth most people never tell you. Your body can still rebuild, much more than you've been led to believe. And today, we're not just talking about protein. We're talking about simple, natural, realistic ways for women over 60 to rebuild strength right at home, starting with foods you already know but may have misunderstood for years. As we enter our 60s, something shifts inside the body, especially for women. When estrogen drops after menopause, your ability to build and maintain muscle drops with it. Protein synthesis slows down, making it harder for your muscles to respond, even if you're eating the same foods you always have. And to make things more challenging, the digestive system becomes less efficient too. You may be eating enough protein, but your body isn't absorbing it the way it used to. That's where certain cheeses become unexpectedly powerful. Some of them are rich in leucine, a key amino acid your muscles desperately need. Others contain proteins that are easier to absorb, or probiotics that help your gut pull more nutrition from the foods you eat. These are exactly the advantages women over 60 need. So let's take the next step together. Let's look at the 5 cheeses that truly support your strength, and the 5 you may want to remove from your kitchen starting today. When it comes to rebuilding muscle strength after 60, especially for women, not all proteins are created equal. Your body needs nutrients it can absorb, not just nutrients on a nutrition label. And that's why the first 3 cheeses I want to show you are powerhouses for healthy aging, specifically tailored to the needs of senior women whose bodies have changed after menopause. Let's start with Greek feta, one of the most underrated tools in senior health. 2 ounces of real Greek feta give you around 8 grams of high-quality protein. But what makes it extraordinary is its naturally occurring probiotics, living organisms that can increase protein absorption by 30 to 35%. That matters more than you might think. After menopause, the digestive tract becomes more sensitive, slower, and less efficient. Many women tell me they eat plenty of protein but still lose muscle. In reality, their bodies simply aren't absorbing it. Greek feta acts like a gentle switch that turns on your digestive system again, allowing your body to make use of the nutrients you give it. One of my favorite examples is Linda, a 67-year-old woman who had avoided cheese for more than 20 years because she feared gaining weight. She relied on salads, low-fat foods, and lean meats, but her legs kept getting weaker. She told me she dreaded climbing the stairs to her bedroom. When she finally reintroduced authentic Greek feta into her meals, just a small amount each morning, something changed. Within 3 months, she wasn't skipping steps, but she said her legs felt lighter, more responsive, and far more stable, not because she ate more protein, but because her body finally absorbed it. If you want a simple way to use feta daily, try the morning feta ritual. Crumble 1 to 2 ounces over your eggs, or spread it on whole grain toast with a drizzle of olive oil. You can even toss it into a small morning salad if you prefer something fresh. This tiny ritual fits perfectly for women who live alone and want something effortless yet powerful for their muscles. Next is ricotta, a remarkably gentle cheese that delivers one of the fastest sources of usable protein for older women. Half a cup gives you around 14 grams of protein and more than 1.2 grams of leucine, the amino acid responsible for switching on muscle growth. Women over 60 need more leucine than younger adults to trigger the same muscle-building response, which makes ricotta almost like a natural supplement. But here's the hidden advantage. Ricotta is incredibly soft and easy to digest. Many women experience bloating, discomfort, or sluggish digestion as they age because the gut lining becomes more sensitive. Ricotta is one of the few cheeses that feels light on the stomach while still delivering high-impact nutrition. I once worked with Maria, a 72-year-old who couldn't tolerate chicken, beef, or even protein shakes anymore. Her appetite was shrinking, and her strength was slipping. When she began adding half a cup of ricotta to her breakfast, sometimes with berries, sometimes on whole grain toast, her grip strength noticeably improved within weeks. It wasn't magic. It was simply that her body could finally digest and absorb what she was eating. Finally, Let's talk about cottage cheese, a true game changer for women who struggle with sleep. A common challenge after menopause. Cottage cheese contains slow-digesting casein protein, which releases amino acids gradually over 8 hours. That means, while you sleep, your muscles are being quietly nourished instead of being broken down for energy. This is crucial because nighttime is when muscle breakdown peaks in older adults. And for women who often wake throughout the night or sleep lightly, cottage cheese offers a steady, protective drip of nourishment. That's why I often recommend the night strength ritual. Half a cup of cottage cheese about 30 minutes before bed. Pair it with a few berries or a sprinkle of nuts if you'd like. This tiny step can significantly reduce overnight muscle loss, helping you wake up feeling steadier on your feet and more supported from the inside out. As women move through their 60s, something profound shifts inside the body, something most people never talk about, and something the original advice about just eat more protein never explains. After menopause, estrogen levels drop sharply, and estrogen is deeply tied to how efficiently your body builds and repairs muscle. When that hormone declines, protein synthesis slows, recovery becomes harder, and the same meals that kept you strong at 40 no longer deliver the same support at 65. That is one of the biggest reasons women lose muscle at nearly twice the rate of men their age. Yet almost no one, especially in senior health, tells women this truth. But here's the hopeful part. Even though you can't bring estrogen back to its younger levels, you can support the pathways that estrogen used to help. And this is where the right cheeses make a surprising difference. Some cheeses are naturally rich in leucine, the amino acid that activates the mTOR pathway, the very switch that tells your muscles it's time to grow. When estrogen is lower, mTOR becomes even more important because your muscles need a stronger signal to respond. Other cheeses contain casein, a slow-releasing protein that protects your muscles at night, when women experience the fastest muscle breakdown. And Swiss cheeses offer something even more unique. Vitamin K2, which helps direct calcium into your bones and supports the coordination between bone and muscle, a relationship that becomes fragile after menopause. This is why so many women who reintroduce the right cheeses suddenly feel more stable, more grounded, and more capable in their own bodies. It's not because cheese is magic. It's because these nutrients compensate for the hormonal changes no one warned you about. But I also want to talk about something deeper, something almost every woman over 60 has lived through. For decades, the diet culture of the 70s, aussi, 80s, and 90s pushed women into low-fat everything. You were told fat was dangerous, that cheese should be avoided, that light foods were the key to being healthy. And without enough dietary fat, your body struggled to absorb vitamins like A, D, and K2 nutrients essential for bone strength, muscle function, and healthy aging. If you ever felt like you were doing everything right, yet still getting weaker, please know this. It was never your fault. You were simply following the guidance you were given. When you look at the science clearly, a different picture emerges. The right cheese isn't a guilty pleasure. It's a practical, powerful tool for women who need highly absorbable protein, steady nighttime nourishment, and nutrients that support both bones and muscles as hormones shift. So if you've been feeling weaker lately, it isn't because you're just getting old. It's because your body has been missing the right raw materials. And once you give it what it truly needs, strength can return far more easily than you might think. Even the best protein in the world can't help your muscles if your body doesn't get the signal to use it. And this is something very few women over 60 ever learn. Your muscles don't grow stronger just because you eat protein. They grow stronger when you eat protein and your muscles receive a small, gentle reminder. I am needed. Think of it this way. Protein is the building material. Movement is the message. Without the message, the material sits unused. And so many women in their 60s and 70s don't get this message because movement feels harder now. Their knees hurt. Their back gets stiff. Their hips don't bend like they used to. So exercise starts to feel scary, complicated, or simply not for me anymore. That's why we're not talking about workouts or gyms or anything that puts pressure on your joints. What I want to show you are 3 tiny movements, so small and gentle that almost anyone can do them, yet powerful enough to help your body use the protein from cheese more effectively. These aren't exercises, they're signals, and when paired with the right cheese at the right time, they help your muscles absorb more nutrition and stay stronger as you age. When you start your morning with Greek feta, your body gets an early boost of protein and probiotics. But to help that protein reach your muscles, all you need is 30 steps. Yes, 30. Walk around your living room, your kitchen, or down the hallway and back. This gentle movement wakes up the muscles in your legs, tells your body I'm using these muscles, and helps your morning protein work harder for you. Many women tell me this small habit makes their legs feel warmer, steadier, and more awake. Swiss and Parmesan are high in protein and vitamins that help your bones and muscles work together. After lunch, sit in a sturdy chair and stand up, then sit down again, 5 simple times. Hold on to the armrest if you need to. Move slowly. This motion is one of the safest and most effective signals you can give your leg muscles. It strengthens the same muscles you use to get out of bed, climb stairs, and keep your balance when you walk. Cottage cheese gives your muscles slow, steady nourishment through the night. Pair it with 2 minutes of gentle stretching. Sit on the edge of your bed, stretch your legs out, point your toes forward and backward, then roll your ankles in slow circles. These tiny stretches keep your muscles flexible and help the protein work while you sleep. Many women wake up feeling more stable and less stiff the next morning. I once worked with a 75-year-old woman named Carol. She didn't believe small movements could help her, but she agreed to try these 3 mini moves every day for 4 weeks. She didn't join a gym. She didn't lift weights. She just moved gently at the right moments. After 1 month, she told me she felt more sure-footed walking down her driveway. She stopped holding on to the wall when she stood up from the couch. Her daughter even said, "Mom, you look stronger." For the women over 60, big workouts can be painful, overwhelming, or even unsafe. But tiny movements, done often, are safe, gentle, and incredibly effective. They send your muscles the exact signal they need, without stress or strain. When you pair the right cheese with the right movement, You create a simple formula. Small protein plus small movement equals strong results. These habits are easy, they're gentle, and they work. Now that we've talked about the cheeses that help your muscles stay strong, it's just as important to talk about the cheeses that quietly work against you. These cheeses may look harmless. They may even be marketed as healthier or lighter options. But for women over 60, especially those dealing with slower digestion, hormone changes, or high blood pressure, they can slowly weaken your muscles without you noticing. Let's start with one of the most common traps in American kitchens: processed American cheese. Those individually wrapped slices melt easily, taste mild, and seem convenient. But what most women don't realize is that they contain emulsifiers and fillers that make the protein harder for the body to use. After menopause, when protein absorption is already lower, these additives make it even harder for your muscles to get what they need. And because processed slices are often high in sodium, they can be especially harmful for women with high blood pressure, causing water retention, swelling, and weaker muscle contractions. Next is low-fat cheese, one of the biggest casualties of the old diet culture. For decades, women were taught to fear fat and choose fat-free everything. But when cheese is stripped of its natural fat, you also lose your ability to absorb vitamins like A, D, and K2 nutrients that protect your bones, your muscles, and your overall strength. Without these vitamins, muscle loss accelerates and bones become more fragile. If you spent years avoiding full-fat cheese because you wanted to be healthy, please hear this. You weren't wrong. You were simply missing the full picture. Your body needs some fat to absorb the nutrients that keep you strong. Another common culprit is cheese spreads like Cheese Whiz or Velveeta. They're soft, easy to spread, and familiar. But they're also packed with sodium and chemical emulsifiers that throw off your body's natural mineral balance. High sodium pulls water out of your muscle cells, making them weaker, less coordinated, and more prone to cramps. This is especially challenging for senior women, who already have a harder time maintaining hydration and muscle elasticity. Then there's sweetened cream cheese, the strawberry, blueberry, and honey-flavored versions that many women enjoy on bagels. The problem isn't the cream cheese itself, it's the added sugar. Sugar in these spreads causes something called glycation, which is when sugar sticks to your muscle proteins and makes them stiff, weak, and slow to repair. Over time, this process literally ages your muscles faster. If your legs have felt tighter or less responsive in the morning, high sugar spreads may quietly be part of the reason. Finally, we need to talk about imitation cheese, sometimes labeled as cheese product. These items are made from vegetable oils, starches, and artificial flavors rather than real milk. They may melt like cheese, but they don't act like cheese inside your body. They lack complete proteins and essential amino acids, meaning your muscles never receive the full building blocks they need. Eating these regularly is like trying to build a house with missing bricks. You can put the pieces together, but it will never be strong. So how do you protect yourself? The answer is simple. Read the label. If you see words like cheese product, pasteurized processed cheese food, spread, or long lists of additives, put it back. Your muscles deserve real food, not imitations. These small choices, made right in your kitchen, can be the difference between losing strength each year or rebuilding it in ways you can feel every single day. Now that you know which cheeses support your muscles and which ones quietly weaken them, the next question becomes simple but important. How do you choose the right cheese when you're standing in a grocery store aisle? For women over 60, especially those who shop alone or prefer simple, budget-friendly routines, the process shouldn't feel overwhelming. It should feel clear, gentle, and doable. Let's start with the basics of smart shopping. Whether you shop at Costco, Walmart, or Kroger, the same rules apply. Look for words like aged, or whole milk, Parmigiano Reggiano, goat milk, sheep milk, or Swiss, aged at least 6 months. These words tell you that the cheese was made using traditional methods, with real ingredients that your muscles can actually use. When a cheese is aged, the proteins are naturally broken down into smaller pieces, making them easier for women over 60 to digest. And when a cheese is made from whole milk, it gives you the healthy fats your body needs to absorb vitamins that protect your bones and muscles. Just as important as what to look for is what to avoid. If the label says cheese product, processed cheese food, spread, or contains a long list of additives you can't pronounce, put it back. These products may be cheaper, but the hidden cost is your strength. Your muscles deserve real food, not fillers. Once you've brought the right cheeses home, the next step is knowing how to use them in a way that feels simple and supportive, not overwhelming or complicated. That's why I created a gentle 7-day cheese starter plan, designed especially for women over 60. This plan fits easily into a quiet morning routine, a simple lunch, or a relaxing evening. It works whether you live alone, with a partner, or with family. And it requires no special recipes, no cooking skills, and very little time. Day 1 to 2. Start your morning with Greek feta. Add 1 to 2 ounces to your eggs, your avocado toast, or a small bowl of chopped cucumbers and tomatoes. This gives your body a protein boost right when your muscles are most ready to receive it. Day 3 to 4. At lunchtime, sprinkle Parmesan over a bowl of vegetables, soup, or whole grain pasta. Even 1 ounce of aged Parmesan can support your bones and muscles far more than most people realize. Day 5. Begin your day with ricotta. Have half a cup with berries or spread it on whole grain toast. It's gentle on your stomach and gives you a strong dose of leucine to start the day. Day 6. Add Swiss cheese to your lunch. Slice it into a salad, melt it over steamed vegetables, or enjoy it with whole grain crackers. Its vitamin K2 content helps direct calcium into your bones, not your arteries. Day 7. Before bed, enjoy half a cup of cottage cheese. This helps protect your muscles during the night. When muscle loss naturally increases, if you follow this plan, you're not just eating cheese. You're creating a simple rhythm, a way of reminding your muscles every single day, I am giving you what you need. Before you begin, there's just one gentle reminder. If you have kidney disease, heart conditions, or you're taking medications like diuretics or statins, talk to your doctor before making major changes to your diet. This isn't to scare you. It's simply to make sure your plan is safe and personalized. I once worked with a 78-year-old woman named Eleanor who felt weaker every month. She didn't want complicated routines. She just wanted something she could do on her own. She followed this exact 7-day plan for 1 month. She told me she could stand up from her favorite chair without holding onto the armrest. She said her legs felt more awake, and her daughter noticed she moved with more confidence. Not because she worked harder, but because she finally gave her body what it needed. This plan is simple, it's gentle, and it's made for you. If there is one message I want every woman over 60 to take from this, it's this: your muscles can still come back. Even if you've lost strength for years, even if climbing stairs feels harder, even if you sometimes wonder whether it's too late, your body is still capable of rebuilding more than you think. Age may slow you down, but it does not take away your ability to grow stronger. Today, you've learned the 5 cheeses that can support your muscles: Greek feta, ricotta, cottage cheese, Parmesan, and Swiss, and how each one gives your body the nutrients it struggles to absorb after menopause. You've also learned the 5 cheeses that work against you: processed American slices, low-fat cheeses, cheese spreads, sugary cream cheeses, and imitation cheese. Now you understand why hormones matter, why digestion slows down, and why the right nutrients can help restore the strength estrogen once protected. You've seen how small movements, 30 steps after breakfast, 5 chair rises after lunch, 2 minutes of stretching before bed, tell your muscles to use the protein you're giving them. And you've learned a simple 7-day cheese plan that can fit into any woman's routine, no matter your age, budget, or living situation. So if you've been feeling weak, tired, or discouraged, remember this: you're not losing strength because you're old. You're losing strength because your body hasn't had the right ingredients. And today, you finally know what those ingredients are. You don't need to change everything at once. You don't need a perfect plan. Just choose one small change to start tomorrow. One cheese swap, one mini move, one tiny act of care for your body. Your muscles are still listening, and they're ready to respond. If cheese alone can do this much for your strength, just imagine what happens when you add foods that contain 10 times more protein than eggs. Most women have never even heard of them, yet they're sitting in grocery stores right now, hidden in plain sight. And when women over 60 start using these foods correctly, the results can feel almost unbelievable. I've seen a 73-year-old woman who once needed both hands to push herself out of bed stand up on her own after just 4 months. I watched an 81-year-old woman slowly transition from a walker to a cane to walking confidently through her garden again. Not because they trained harder, not because they changed their lives, but because they finally fed their muscles what they had been missing for years. If today's video opened your eyes, then you'll want to stay with this series. The next episode reveals those 7 powerful foods that can help you rebuild strength even if you haven't felt strong in decades. So make sure you subscribe, keep notifications on, and don't miss what's coming. Because for women over 60, one truth remains constant: you are never too late to become strong again.